today at Blade HQ we have a special guest. One thing I love about your knives, Jesper, is you pick one up and it doesn't matter if it's from CRKT or Spyderco or Fox, and it's like, oh, that's the Jesper design. What is up, guys? Today at Blade HQ we have a special guest straight from Denmark. Jesper, welcome to Knife Banter, sir.
Thank you.
What are we doing today?
Looking at knives, I guess.
I love it.
Yeah, right?
So we pulled a bunch of Voxnays designs and we got them on the table. We kind of wanted to look at where you've been and then where you're going with GiantMouse knives. So
Okay.
Let's talk where you've been, starting with the PILAR. Tell us about it, man.
The PILAR.
Yeah.
So the PILAR I designed for CRKT, for their line. Small utility knife, actually with sailing in mind. So it's named the PILAR from after the PILAR that is Ernest Hemingway's boat, or was.
Can we refer to Hemingway as Papa Hemingway on the show?
Papa, I think is how he'd prefer to be.
We call him Rum Toddy, I don't know. But so cool little cutter. People seem to like it. It's a really nice knife.
So talk to me, when you sit down to design something, you're looking at sailing, or you're looking at, what's going through your mind as you're designing?
Well, it depends on what I want to do. Sometimes I just get an idea or an urge to do a special version of some kind of knife. It could be a fighting knife or something. I seem to be more and more moving towards small utility knives. So for me, it's often just the idea of I want to create something, in this case, for instance, a small knife, and I want it to be for sailing or whatever, and I'll just move in that direction and see what happens.
That's cool. So tell me, what about the next one on the table, or did you have a question today?
Yeah, no, I have a question. So, well, first off, I love Hemingway, so I'm really excited that this is named
Papa
after
Hemingway, please.
Papa, yeah, I really love Papa. He hunted Nazis and like German subs and like he did everything in that boat.
He deserves that Papa designation.
Kind of didn't, did he?
He kind of did and kind of did. And that's what I love about it, right?
We're in a safe zone. So
yeah, exactly. But no, with this one in particular, so not only is it named after a sailboat, this was actually inspired by sailing because you go sailing back home in Denmark.
Yeah, we sail a lot.
Yeah.
I live just by the harbor. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And then I feel like I read somewhere that you have like boat builders or something in your family, or you know.
Yeah, so my father-in-law is a boat builder.
Okay.
Yeah, well, he's not, but he builds boats.
He builds boats. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And we've had boats forever.
Okay, right on.
I started sailing when I was 7, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and the other thing that I've heard about this knife in particular, because as you know, Ben, I love the PILAR. This is one of my
I'm
faves.
aware.
This is one of my faves.
I've heard.
I've always wondered why it doesn't have like a sharp point to it.
Yeah.
What's the reason behind this?
Well, on a sailor's knife, you can't have a sharp point, and that's, I think it's from the British Navy actually. So they broke off all the tips of the knives, so the sailors couldn't do a mutiny on the boat.
Yeah, that's why sailor knives have the dual edge. It's not for prying, it's for so you don't kill your captain.
A safety. Yeah. Wow. Could be a safety feature as well, but I like the other story.
No, I like that story.
Yeah,
I like
right?
that.
Yeah.
Can we name your next model the Mutiny?
The Mutiny. It's just
Bounty?
really sharp.
Then we'll do the Mars and the Snickers. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
So anyways, sorry. Yeah, those are some rumors I've heard about this knife
cool.
that I wanted to clear up while
That's
we have
awesome.
Oh, that's rumors about this
hostage
knife?
here. Yeah, that's what I've heard. So.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, what's next on the table? What do we got?
So next on the table is a knife from Fox Knives, the Core.
A little bit bigger than what
A little
the
bigger,
other things
yeah.
you're working on.
So that's basically a utility knife. You could use this camping. It has a pretty stout blade, super strong, full flat grind, and a really nice ergonomic handle. And it has a flipper, and it flips really well. So it's a fun knife.
Yeah, this one does flip really well.
May I on this one?
Of course you may.
I love the backspacer too. Just a beautiful aluminum. Is what
Yeah,
it looks like.
it's aluminum, and we can anodize that in all different colors. And they did. Yeah.
No, that's a beautiful piece. One thing I love about your knives, Jesper, is you pick one up, and it doesn't matter if it's from CRKT or Spyderco or Fox, and it's like, oh, that's the Jesper design.
Oh, thank you.
No, I'm serious. Like,
well, that's. I mean, I strive to do that, to get the knives to kind of.
There's cohesion throughout the entire line.
Yeah, and I want that. It's not something that I really just sit and okay, we have to have some Vox things in here, but it just happens, and Yeah, a lot of people say that you can see that that's a Vox design.
So tell us about the next one, and maybe point out something that makes it a Vox design. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm just thinking. So one of the things that this is the SURU, also from Fox Knives. The SURU just got overall knife of the year.
Congratulations!
Thank you. This design at the Blade Show, so we're pretty proud of that. So some of the features will probably be the clean lines, simple clean lines. I don't add a lot to my knives. If I do anything, I probably take something away. So sometimes I'll do a design and I'll be like, oh, this is too, I don't know if you call it cloudy, but there's too much going on. So I'll remove stuff, I'll straighten out lines, and I'll make it simpler. And that's probably one of the things that'll let people know that it's one of my designs. I use this opening hole on a lot of my knives, and we also moved that into the GiantMouse line as one of the options we do for opening holes. I think some people see that as one of my, as a Vox feature.
Yeah.
I know that other people use it as well, other makers use it as well, so it's not something I came up with, it's just I have a shape that seems to fit better than most. And I think that's kind of what it is. You can see the same clean lines as on the PILAR between these two. I mean, definitely not the same, but at the same time, they have a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
Well, when you talk about lines, as a user, right, of these different knives and stuff, I mean, I've carried some GiantMouse, I've carried the PILAR, I'm getting a SURU very soon.
Yeah.
Something else that I noticed between your knives, at least for my hand, the ergonomics always feel so good. So whether you're going from like the little PILAR or going up to something bigger in the GiantMouse line or like from Fox, the ergonomics always feel good in hand.
Well, it's all about use for me. It's all about use.
And it comes across in the designs. And I'm kind of notorious. I beat my knives up, and the designs that I've handled from you, they all have that feel.
Okay.
That it's like, oh, it wants to be a thing. It wants to do something.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that, because that's what I want in a knife. I want it to be a knife that you want to use because your hand wants to use it. Getting a glove that's too small or too big sucks.
Yeah.
Right. So getting a glove that fits, it's like, yes, I'm home. And it's the same with knives, in my opinion. You have to have that feeling that, yeah, I'm gonna carry this.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
So let me ask you this: when we were off camera, we were sitting here talking about kind of the how you like to be able to hit the end of the blade with your finger.
Yeah.
And that's kind of become something that for me is pretty important. I do like these weird paper cutting things for my kids, and so I choke up on a blade like this. And if the blade is
Really?
like, yeah, no, so I'll draw things for my kids and then cut them out.
Okay.
So like, yeah,
Oh, I get that part, but it's just the way you're holding the knife.
no, that's a way I use it.
Yeah.
So for me, if the blade is too long,
Try skinning an animal that way.
no, yeah. I don't think I'd skin an animal that way, but
No,
for you,
I
is
get
that the reason that you want it skinning?
No, well, that's not because I skin a lot of animals, but grabbing a knife and having that feeling that you can use the tip with your finger is pretty important for me. Of course, at some point it becomes ridiculous if it's too long. You can't do that. But if you can choke up on a knife and you can have your finger out there, you have an extra precision to use your blade, because a blade can also be used without the handle, and that means you have to be able to get the blade in a position where you actually can use it and it feels right and it doesn't slip away from you or feel like you can't hold it. So I like that to be an option as well.
Yeah.
So that's why I always have that. I test, and when I'm sitting with a knife, I'll be going like this at some point to get that feeling if it actually will work.
Nice.
In that position. Yeah.
It's the finger test.
The finger test.
You
yeah.
gotta hit it.
But I never cut things out for my children other than, well, they're too old, but I used to cut food or apples and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they get knives pretty early in life in my family, so.
Nice. What age? I've heard this kicking around the internet from you guys. What age do you give a child a knife?
In my family?
Yeah, in your family.
I think whenever you want one.
Okay.
But you would have to want one.
So my 4-year-old wants one. I should give him one.
Well, I don't know how it works in your family.
No, but in your family, I mean.
No, but seriously, I have, I don't know, a couple of hundred designs plus out. So I have knives laying around all over the house.
Yeah.
And I've always had knives laying around all over the house. So my kids just had to learn that what's a knife and how does it work and
Nice.
why should I not be afraid of this?
Yeah.
You can't do the same with guns, I think, but it's important that with dangerous things, that if you have them around the house, and you have to have them around the house, well, then you have to teach your children that this is a safe object as long as you
Yeah.
treat it right. And exactly the same. Our children learned to swim at the age of 2. They could all swim
That's awesome.
because they're living right next to the water.
Yeah.
So you
Kind
have
of a
to.
necessity.
Yeah, right.
That's cool. So let's transition into GiantMouse. Tell us about this first model, and maybe go into what is GiantMouse. Kind of give us a little bit of history about what you're up to.
Well, GiantMouse started out with Jens Anso and me and Jim Worth talking about our designs, and Jim said, well, why don't you produce them yourself? Why don't you try doing that? And we went back and forth, and first it started as a joke, and then it ended up being the company as known as GiantMouse. So we basically wanted to do whatever we wanted to do, and Jim said, well, you get full, what do you call it? You can decide how the design should be. You can decide the materials. It's 100% up to you. And you'll also be the ones doing the QC and everything. So we were like, okay, that's a super deal. So we went for it and came out with the first couple of knives. So we started out with a line called the GiantMouse line. We still have that in the company. So it's a line where you do 400 pieces of a design and then you discontinue the design entirely.
Completely?
Completely,
Wow.
yeah. You can't get it anymore.
So very exclusive.
Very exclusive, and out of those 400 pieces, 100 pieces would be the pirate version, and that would be a different version of the design. So there will only be 100 pieces of those. So super exclusive. And at one point, about 1.5 years ago or something like that, we talked about maybe doing a line that was more price friendly for everybody. So we started the Ace line, and the knives here, these two, are from the Ace line.
Okay, so tell us about the Biblio on the
So
table.
the Biblio was the first one we came out with. Small utility folder. I think this one is M390.
Yeah, M390 on this
Yeah,
one.
and it's the G10 version you have.
This is the
here.
G10 we have
Yeah.
here, yeah.
So it's just a small, nice utility folder, and it actually is based on the first design we ever did. So we wanted to bring the history from the GiantMouse line and the GiantMouse name into the Ace line. So we took the GM1, which was the first knife we did in the company, and designed this knife from that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now with this one here, this exact model has been floating around in a lot of our pockets.
Yeah, I carried it for 2 weeks.
Yeah, here at HQ, like I've had it in my pocket probably on and off for 3 weeks total. We took it camping, we did all these things, and I don't know what type of black magic you guys use to keep on this M390, but we can't kill the edge on
It's
it. It's
incredible. Yeah.
It is incredible. We carved spoons with it for over an hour, and then it just like sliced right through tomatoes like butter.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, it's a great blade. I've really been loving it.
Probably gonna suck when you have to sharpen it though.
Yeah.
No, it is super thin, but it won't chip. So
Yeah.
I think we hit the right formula.
Yeah, for sure.
On heat treat.
No, it's the edge retention is mind-boggling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sold me on M390.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Me too. Like beautiful.
It's a great steel.
Yeah.
It is.
It is.
And we just love working with it. We're trying a couple of different steels, more to have a variety, but also, we want to test stuff as well, and we have some ideas with steels as well. But we're not steel snobs. We're not like super into that part, but we want to give people the best product. And as long as we get allowed to do so, we can do whatever we want. Well,
Nice.
why should we choose a cheaper steel?
That's awesome.
So yeah, we really like the 390.
Now, one thing that I've noticed with the two folders that we carry here at Blade HQ from you guys is this jimping is a little bit farther up on the blade.
Yeah, people talk a lot about the GiantMouse jimping.
Yeah, it's so I've heard a little bit of your philosophy with wanting to be able to choke up on the knife, so I'm assuming that's where that design piece comes from.
Yeah, so we'll place the jimping so you can actually, it's just like a kitchen knife. You often end up in cutting situation, you end up grabbing the blade. And if you grab the blade or you want to do a push cut or anything, you would probably put your finger on the blade.
Yeah.
A lot of jimping is placed in this area.
Yeah, along the spine there.
Yeah. Which actually, in my opinion, makes absolutely no sense because that's for a stabbing motion. And how often do you stab stuff?
Yeah.
Not that often. But if you really want to put pressure on a blade, you want to place it where the thumb ends, right there. And then you can full control, deep motions.
Yeah, it was definitely something different when I was carrying it because I'm used to the jimping kind of right there, right there at that pivot area.
Because so the whole knife will pivot around this area in your hand once you put pressure on it, because that's the way it works. So putting pressure out here doesn't matter because it pivots around this area. Once you put it up here, you're in control.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's why we do it.
Tell me about the design process, because it's you and Jens sitting down designing something, or do you design something, send it over to him? What does that collaboration look like?
Normally we'll start with a ton of drawings. So I'll have drawings, Jens will have drawings. We'll sit down, have a couple of cups of coffee, and just sit down and talk and go through each other's drawings and say, oh, I really like this one. I like this one. Then we'll have like a bunch of drawings that we both like. And then we work out from that. We'll go, okay, which one do we like the best? We'll have them up on the wall. We go, no. And I'll go and say on one of Jens's drawings, if we change this and blah, 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 and he'll go, no, that's not happening. That's awful, blah, 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 whatever.
Do you
so
ever
it'll be
fight?
back and
Do you
forth.
ever a fist fight, or just normal?
Yeah, but that's normally, in our country, we do it in bars with other people. No, it's a pretty civil thing we do. So at one point we'll have a drawing and we'll go, okay, this is what we're going to do. Then we scan it to the computer and we both get a scan, and then we work. We go to each other's place and we'll just be sitting there working and start sending drawings back and forth.
Nice.
At some point we'll be agreeing on this is what we're going to work from, and we'll take one and then I'll work it and send it to Jens. He'll work it and send it back to me, and then back and forth until we have an idea.
So let's take that process here. Tell us about this one, and what is yours and what is Jens's?
Well, you can't say it that way.
So it's just...
It all flows together.
You've kind of found a unity between the two.
Well, it could be like the blade. I think on this one, I actually did the blade shape, and that was what we fell in love with. The blade shape is just awesome on this one, in my opinion. And Jens loved it as well. It has that utility blade. And we wanted to do that. We wanted to do a real working knife. So the NIMBUS is a working knife. It's not a gimmick or anything. You can't really play around with this as much as you can with the other ones. So we wanted to do like a basic knife for work. So this one we kind of based on the designs of a lot of knives from when we were kids, like some of the Swedish folding knives, old school knives, and we just wanted to do something similar. So the blade was the first thing we agreed on, and then we started drawing.
Nice.
And this is what it ended up with. So there's not like a part that's Jens's or mine. There's just like, of course, there'll be a little more of the guy that based the first drawing is that based this was the base for this design.
Cool.
But other than that, no.
Yeah.
Love it. It's fun to me. I mean, we work, Zach and I work in this world where we kind of just see end products.
Yeah.
And so for me to hear about the design process and the back and forth, that's cool to me.
One of the reasons it's hard for me to kind of explain is also the fact that we've known each other for so many years. We've been designing, both of us,
Since
making
what, 89?
Yeah, so it's like 30 years. So for us, it's like a process, and we've been working together known each other in making knives for 13 years. So it's like I know where he's going. When he's doing something, I'll be like, yeah, I get that, and I'm already, thinking, oh, so we should do this. So it's kind of it all flows together.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it is.
That's really cool.
So if I had to do it with someone else, it would be a different process.
Cool.
For sure.
Yeah.
Very cool. What's in your pocket, Jesper?
Actually, I'm carrying this one in the.
Now, the reason that this is exciting is not only because you're carrying a GiantMouse Biblio, which is great, but guys, we haven't had my Carta handles on these Biblios yet, but coming soon.
Coming
Late
soon,
HQ.
yeah.
And I'm so excited.
Did I hear that you need one of these, Zach?
Oh, I need one of these. Yeah.
Was that your language? It was need.
Need. Must have. So we've had the HQ one that we've been testing
Yep.
and loved, and I almost bought this, And then when Jesper comes today and shows me this, and then I hear we're going to be getting them, this I just found out today. I'm excited.
I love the way micarta wears. It
seems like people really like
it becomes
micarta.
yours.
Well,
you know?
and
it does.
I think for the Biblio though too, it's just a good fit, right?
is.
Like I think there's certain knives it's like don't put micarta on that, right?
Yeah,
but this is the knife that
This
needs
is
it.
perfect for it.
Yeah.
I don't think you would do it on this one.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
it would be too much. It would be like,
Yeah, it'd be big and too much.
Yeah,
but
Yep.
this
makes sense on this one.
It is.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. You've done good work here. Now, we've had this little rag sitting on the table for the whole show. Do you want to tease something here? Do you want to announce it?
You can show some of it.
Just a little bit. Just yeah, that's it. That's
Don't say it. Don't say
is.
it.
When's this coming out?
So that's coming out probably in, let's see, October.
October. So if you want to know what's
In the
here
beginning of October, yeah.
under this little rag, where should they find you, Jesper?
On Instagram.
On
That
Instagram.
would be GiantMouse knives at Instagram. Yeah.
Okay, so there's your incentive to.
It's an interesting one, and
Yeah.
what makes it interesting is that it's the first time we ever did one like that.
Yeah.
And I don't mean the design.
Well, and
the way it's made.
I think not only that, but I think this is a first for the industry in general with kind of material and pricing.
Wow, all the
There's a
reasons
lot.
you
There's,
should now
there's a
follow
lot of
Giant
firsts, and
Mouse
I'm not
up.
trying to hype this, guys. Seriously, when I found out what this was going for and what the blade steel was, I was a little blown away. So it's pretty cool.
This
Yeah,
is
we wanted to do something special in a price range that was interesting as well.
Yeah, I think you guys are going to like this. So go follow Giant Mouse Knives as well. Jesper, if they follow, what is it, Vox or Voxnays?
Voxnays, VOXNAES on Instagram as well.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Guys, the place to buy Jesper's designs is bladehq.com as well as Giant Mouse Knives. And I believe, am I mistaken here, we're the only ones in the US selling
You're
Giant
the
Mouse.
only
or
one
of
that
the few.
carry the Giant Mouse brand down.
It's a beautiful thing. Thank you.
Other
We
than the
appreciate that.
website,
So
yeah.
the place to buy them is bladehq.com. Guys, we'll have another video coming out for you next week. We should have something under a cloth
Right.
and reveal it at the end. Like a Snickers bar.
Yeah, I was thinking someone's lunch.
A live snake.
Yeah. Holy shit, that's a scorpion. Sure is, Ben.
Catch it, Ben. Catch it.
Now pick it up.